disagree though. You disagree women are not oppressed in the USA. Riri, you also disagreed. And then that's all for the disagreements. Why do you disagree?
Okay, can you tell me what it means again? Because that might make me change my answer. Because I really don't know what it means.
So I'll Google it just to make sure that we give you the best definition.
I need to go back to school.
Oppression is the unjust or cruel use of power or authority, especially by imposing burdens on a group of people. Also, malicious or unjust treatment of or exercise of power over a group of individuals, often in the form of government authority. Yeah. Is that helpful or not really?
No. Can I have an example?
An example of oppression. You know what? I'll just Google it. Example of oppression.
Because it probably made me change my answer. I really didn't know what I was reading.
Right, can I get it in a sentence?
So I think slavery would be an example of oppression.
Oh, okay.
Denial, religious persecution. Like Andrew over here.
Use it as an adjective.
Yes. Let's see.
I oppressed my wife when I made her cook my dinner.
Oppressed.
Like he forced her to?
W oppression right? Of Rachel Wilson in the chat.
Yeah.
W oppression.
There's not as much oppression as I'd like around here.
You need to press.
I got to step it up.
Those are rookie numbers, Andrew. Step it up.
Say whatever you want to say. It's okay.
Another example is like, how they have in the, I don't want to be wrong with the location, but the Middle East, when the women have to be completely covered. That's like an example of oppression.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then we're
I don't think we are.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Okay.
We are not oppressed in America. My family's from a third world country. We're not oppressed here.
I totally agree that the oppression is nowhere near how it is, and I don't believe that all women are necessarily oppressed depending on how they live, what they're doing. But I do think that in a lot of circumstances, when it comes to things like medical oppression, where women are less likely to get appropriate treatment, and the rates that Black women die giving birth, things like that, I do believe are oppression because we just kind of ignore them and brush them under the rug.
Aren't women more likely to go to the doctor?
And
they're more likely
to get treatment.
and less likely to get
proper treatment or proper diagnosis.
Andrew, do you have anything on this?
Well, that one I could give facts on.
Give me the facts.
No, that was it. I was just joking that I was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It was just a shitty joke.
Yeah.
But legitimately,
I
that
thought
is
you
true.
said you were going to give me facts on the idea of medical care being oppressive towards women.
Yeah.
I totally did, but it was.
Can I provide one counter example to you? So I think that, I don't know if this is a great argument, but so men are much more likely to be scientifically experimented on consensually, but this would indicate to me that men are so desperate for money, they're much more willing than women, for example, to take experimental drugs, experimental treatments, and to be compensated for money. I think that this would be perhaps a counter example that, at least in the medical field, why is it more? Well, there's a greater proportion of men who are medically experimented on than women. I think if it was the reverse, there would be uproar oh my God, why are we using women as guinea pigs for medical experimentation?
But she used birth as an example.
Wait, what?
She just used giving birth as an example.
Black women. She's talking about
in all first world countries, especially in the United States, this is a phenomenon which has been happening, where the maternal death rate has climbed due to birth. But the reason for this is because of age. Women are giving birth later in life, in their 30s now. And so this has contributed to the idea that, hey, women suffer greatly under some type of medical malpractice, which is associated with them specifically because now they're dying in childbirth in higher numbers than they did even 20 or 30 years ago. But it's just because of the age of the women. They're just getting older. They're literally giving birth older, and so they have more complications.
So going back to this, when it comes to women being oppressed, you cited to this treatment when it comes to medicine. Although it did occur to me that when it comes to this differential treatment, when it comes to healthcare, men on average die 5 years earlier than women.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a massive gap. I mean, and that's probably like health related. I mean, it could be like risk related too. Like men take more risks. Like they maybe, I don't know.
Or don't go in, like you were saying.
Men suffer in silence. I've heard things that you wouldn't believe. Like men, there's a lot of young men that are addicted to pornography, that want a girlfriend, and it's like it's so crazy. And they work a 9 to 5, and they don't tell anybody how they feel. They only tell a therapist or a mental health person. And like, I don't understand, like, how is it that people are not worried about this? Because men in their 30s and 40s, 20s, 30s and 40s, they want things that they don't think they'll ever get, and they're angry. And like, I've had dudes tell me that they think about essaying women, and then they're like, but I'm not going to do that because I'm a good guy. But then like, they live alone. When they come home from work, they play video games, they watch pornography, and then they have to like deal with the reality that like they're not where they feel like being in life. Like men are really like suffering, and the only reason I know is because of my job. And I don't know, like I feel like the government should be like more worried, because if like the internet cuts out, like these dudes are gonna like go out and like do some really crazy stuff. Maybe.
Right.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know, because the stuff
so-
I hear is like crazy.
Yeah. Going back to this though, you did say that women are oppressed. Do you think you're oppressed?
I don't think that I necessarily experience oppression in the same way. I think I do think about things that other people might not necessarily see as oppression, like how the cost for like a prostate cancer exam. Oh.
Why are you guys laughing?
If the internet cuts out, they're screwed. They're screwed. If the internet goes out, they're screwed, bro. Like the world is coming to an end.
Feral.
It's like the Adderall shortage, you know?
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So women, are you oppressed?
Yeah, I don't think I necessarily experience
Okay.
it directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But women are oppressed in the USA.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe that all women in the U.S. experience oppression, but I do believe
And
that.
there's like the medical
women do.
thing, and then it was, what was give me like the two other things I think you said?
I think that medically is really the biggest thing.
That's the big one? Okay.
Yeah, for
All
me.
right. All right, I'm going to move it on then. Let's see. We've got women have equal rights to men in the USA. Allie, you disagreed.
Say it again. I'm so sorry. I was zoned out.
Women have equal rights to men in the USA. You disagree with this statement?
Oh, no. Then I just read it wrong. Sorry.
Oh my, come on. You just don't want to argue about it.
No, legitimately. I've argued plenty of things. I think you understand that I can
Okay.
argue a
So you
point.
think then that women do have equal rights in the
When-
United States?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Jay, you disagreed though. You think women do not have equal rights in the United States. Why is that?
I think, as we saw in the like reproductive rights, that's the biggest one. That's the biggest one. I mean, I'm lucky that, you know, living here in Los Angeles, it doesn't affect me too much. But I grew up in a red state, and like I know how it is. Like in certain places,
Equal
it's
rights.
a lot worse.
Yeah. Anything else besides that? Besides the abortion stuff?
I mean, that's the biggest one.
Well, what's the smaller one?
I say I can't really. That's the main one that I'm aware of. I can't really think of any more.
But I mean, main one would seem to imply that there are other ways in which women don't have equal rights to men in the USA. Are there any more? Or is that the only one
That's the only one I guess I really
that you can
think about.
Yeah. Well, so the prompt is women have equal rights to men in the United States. Given that men don't have any reproductive rights, would it be safe to say that actually women have more rights when it comes to reproduction? And in fact, moving closer to equality between men and women would seem to, it would either it would dictate that women, their right to an abortion is completely walked back entirely. Would that?
I mean, men can't get pregnant, so it's irrelevant to them.
Right, but like, so when we're talking about equal rights, that's a comparison of rights between men and women. So men need to have a certain right that a woman does not. Since men have no rights, like for example, a man can't compel a woman to get an abortion. It would seem to me that equality would dictate that we completely and entirely walk back women's access to abortion in order to get equality.
I think yeah, I'm a bit
So are all these questions that you typed on here, like all the ones you like?
What do you mean?
Like you agree to, or
what
like?
do you mean agree?
Like those questions?
Well, I mean everything I just said now when it came to abortion. That's not my position.
I think she's just asking if you wrote the questions, if you chose the questions.
Yeah, or is it based like
Sure,
based? Yeah.
I wrote these, and I do think that women have equal rights to men in the United States.
That's why I specifically didn't disagree with that, because I don't think when it comes to abortion, it's a matter of equal rights, because it doesn't affect men at all. So it's not, you can't really weigh it against anything. So it's not really a matter of equal rights.
That's kind of my perspective on it. It's like, it's not really like an example of like some sort of inequality between men and women, because it's like men can't get pregnant. So it's like,
there's nothing to compare it to for men. Like,
so and let's see, moving on,